So we're talking with PR, social media, ministry marketing expert Pam Perry. And Pam, what you just said was powerful information. And I want to focus on the ministries. I know they can be a little slow, dragging their feet, but let's say I have a basic person who's in ministry. They want to get the word out about their music, their book, or they want the phone to ring and people to call them and ask them to preach. Will you give just a basic answer of why social media is so important?
Okay. The world is about search. It's about finding people in Google, finding people in Bing. So they have to get the mindset of, if someone were to look for me, where would they find me? We don't go to the yellow pages anymore.
Right.
Okay. So what terms are they going to be looking for you in Google?
Excellent.
And so the first thing is that you need content. Most of the ministers have content. They're nothing but content. Most ministries preach twice a week. If they are an artist, they have content. So content is king. So they create a home for the content.
Okay.
They create a blog so they can house their content, whether it's a podcast, whether it's a video, or whether it's written material articles, or whether it's guest articles. But they need something that will alert the search engines that they're there, and that the search engines pick them up and find them. When they find them, they go back to the blog or the blog site. It looks like a website. I tell a lot of people a lot of times WordPress.org can be your website.
Right.
That is a blog, which search engines love.
Right.
Theresa, I spend a lot of time really just explaining the blog concept.
Yes.
To people. Okay, so we're like, I'm past that. I'm understanding that people do have a blog site. They do have WordPress.org. If not, go there, get it. After they have a blog, they need to capture email addresses.
Amen. Okay.
And they need to then start a personal relationship with them. It's one thing to have Facebook and Twitter, and you're sending it out to the masses. But when someone gets something in their email, it's a personal message to them, and they're more likely, if it's interesting enough, and it's not too often, they will open it. And
Right.
so once they open up the email, you can begin the relationship, you can
Excellent.
make the offer, you can let people know. So that's where the sales process starts. So it is marketing, but it's trying to put people through a sales funnel.
Right.
And so the whole point of it, Theresa, is I'm just trying to get people to understand that content is king. Search is where we are right now. We're in the world of search. You have to be found. And I always tell people, I wrote it in Gospel Today, I said, if you're not in Google, you don't exist.
Exactly.
And so if you're a ministry, you're an artist or whatever, can't say, oh, that stuff is just for kids. It doesn't matter. It does matter because it matters to the internet.
Well, don't you think we live in a really exciting time where people are online? Pam, I've seen different studies where people are actually turning the television off to go online more, to spend more time online. And have you heard of this fact? This might be more of a local business, but I think ministry in some ways is business. But 97% of people now are going online and searching for their service or their products than any other time. And 97%. And then I'm not even discussing the mobile media is starting to bloom. The percent of people who will look at a text and open it versus an email. I mean, email is awesome. What I like what you're doing here, Pam, is you're reinforcing basic marketing principles that really, if I can say, be so bold, they're biblical principles. Because when you're offering, let's say you talked about that email offer, you're offering them something in exchange for their email where you touch them, right, and build that relationship. Well, really, what are we doing? We're serving. And when you say content is king, that means you're serving your content of value, not just spammy, buy. And I love that. It is basic marketing principles, but flip it over to the internet, correct? Because you're a PR expert, correct?
And really, the whole point of it is totally correct. You do have to serve, you have to sow, but then you also have to converse. So They call it the conversation age. It's really hard for preachers to really get this because they have to lose control.
Right.
So if they set up a Facebook page, they can't just preach.
Right.
They have to engage. And that's really hard for them to do because it's like I'm so used to just one-way communication. We're in Web 2.0.
Right.
So it's not, it's open in the world. I mean, obviously if there's things that are vulgar or very mean,
Right.
you take those down.
Right.
But basically you have to let it go.
That's good.
If it's on Twitter, if they're tweeting you, you let it go. You have to be open. You have to open up. A lot of ministers on Facebook, they will close their wall. And it's like, why did you close your wall? It says, well, I don't want people to post things on my wall. I'm like, that's the whole point of being in social media. It's
Yeah.
social.
Yeah.
So you have to make it 2.0. A lot of people just think, well, I can just post my sermons or I post scriptures or whatever. That's
Yeah.
not engaging.
Yeah.
And that doesn't work.
That's
So
good.
the most profitable brands online are the ones that go viral because other people have attached themselves to it. They've got the buy-in, and then they feel like they're being listened to.
Yeah.
And so with pastors, they're so used to being listened to, but they have to listen to their
Very good.
potential congregants or just other people that are out there. They have to listen to them and respond.
And that's
Now,
why-
like I said, well, I don't have time. You got to make time.
Yeah, and they just have to monitor their wall. I mean, my husband, he monitors his wall all the time because once in a while someone will post something that doesn't agree with Christianity. He's a pastor, and I think
Right.
I'll take that down. So, but to close your wall,
Yeah, yeah.